In sharp contrast to their depression when the East Berlin border was closed, West Berliners are in a gala mood as they greet President Kennedy's emissary to that beleaguered city, Lyndon Johnson. The Vice President brings a firm pledge that the United States will never abandon West Berlin to communist threats or aggression. He is almost mobbed by the 100,000 people who line the streets despite the rain to cheer him on his 8-mile trip from the airport to City Hall. There are more cheers from 300,000 in front of City Hall as Mr. Johnson declares that freedom can prevail and peace can endure. He addressed a message to the people of East Berlin, telling them that the days of tyranny are numbered. Cheers for the Vice President's statements were loud and prolonged. They were reassured that the United States was a friend that would stand true. If the Vice President's visit raised the spirits of West Berliners, the arrival of additional U.S. troops bolsters their morale even higher. Soldiers of the 1st Battle Group of the 18th Infantry are greeted with cheers, flowers, and tears. The 1,500 men will reinforce 5,000 U.S. troops who garrison the city, along with 6,000 French and British. Mr. Johnson later reported to the President that the explosive East-West situation is a real threat to peace, but that the ties between Germany and the U.S. have never been stronger. These pictures prove his contention that free peoples will let nothing daunt them in holding dear the freedom that the communists would end in West Germany. On the eve of a debate in the United Nations on France's naval base in Bizerta, hundreds of thousands of Tunisians take part in monster rallies throughout their country. There's an undercurrent of seething unrest in the nation as France boycotts the UN hearing and President Bourguiba calls on the U.S. to support Tunisia in her dispute with France. He also rejected a French offer to negotiate and called for total evacuation of French forces. International observers hope that his arbitrary stand will not cause fighting to break out anew. The British call it the Stalwart, and we call it Amazing. It's a new cross-country load carrier that has yet to meet the terrain it can't conquer. Its 6 wheels, all individually sprung, take hill and dale with nary a complaint. And that's not all. It conquers sea as well as land, taking to the water with all the aplomb of a duck. Afloat, it is driven by a revolutionary jet method that sucks in water at the bow and forces it out at high pressure. It can do 5 knots, with a baffle plate protecting the windshield. When tests are completed, the Stalwart is scheduled to make a trip to Germany under its own power. Plenty of room aboard for seasickness pills. The National AAU Men's Swimming Championships get off to a flag-flying start as the emblems of participating nations are paraded or swum the length of the Los Angeles pool. It's to be a shattering meet, record-shattering that is. The meet starts with a bang in the 200-meter breaststroke. Chet Jastrzemski of Toledo has been waging a one-man war on the 1958 mark all summer, and today he's got the competition that drives him to a new mark. As Chet comes down to a finish, the next 5 men behind him are breaking the American record, and Jastrzemski shaves nearly 7 seconds from the mark held by Australia's Terry Gathercole. He hits the end of the pool in 2 minutes, 29 and 6/10 seconds. The 200-meter butterfly sees another record fall as Carl Roby, a 16-year-old Philadelphia lad, provides the surprise of the day. In his first national championship meet, he cracks the world mark set in the last Olympics. The high school student gives his competition a postgraduate lesson as he wins in 2:12 and 6/10. The thriller of the day is the 200-meter freestyle with 2 of the world's best middle distance swimmers, Tsushoshi Yamanaka and Murray Rose, trailing the field for most of the race. But when they turn on the steam, they electrify the crowd. knifing through the water, matching stroke for stroke. Yamanaka finishing in 2 minutes, 4/10 seconds, just a half second ahead of Rhodes. If good things come in small packages, this should be the most enjoyable fishing trip he's ever taken. This later-day Isaac Walton is not one to go in for power cruisers and elaborate tackle. He leaves all that behind as he heads for a secret fishing hole with a pocket-sized craft. It was Shakespeare who said, "Light boats sail swift, though greater hulks draw deep." Now for the grand launching. It's a one-man boat, as you can plainly see, and our merry angler has signed an affidavit that it is not the baby's bathtub. It's a craft that's easily handled, on land at least, and he's all set for perfect piscatorial pleasures, we hope. Wonder if he's figured just where he's going to put his gear. Oh well, you don't need all that. For skin diving,